Welcome to yoga, everybody. Thanks for sharing your presence here. Let's begin sitting down. Find a position that allows your two sitting bones to ground. You might take a moment to shift your body around and get situated. Sitting up tall so the chest feels bright and open and the shoulders can relax down as you're lifting up to your crown. So we had a wonderful gathering last night at Integrative Yoga. We were focusing on resilience. And in meditation, we started to enter the practice of the mindfulness practice of befriending. Befriending, as described by one expert in mindfulness, a professor from Oxford University. His name is Willem Kuyken. He wrote an article in Mindful magazine, How to Befriend Your Life as It Is. And he says that learning to befriend all moments places firmly in the life we are living, rather than the ideal life we are prone to imagine or strive towards. He says that befriending is a relationship of caring curiosity with all experience. It's a way of being that is all-inclusive of our minds and hearts, as well as that what we encounter in the world, both the challenging and the lovely. So it's developing that capacity to hold space for that gamut of experiences, that gamut of emotions. Developing the capacity to befriend does not mean that we have to like the painful or the difficult. When we learn to stand near to it and befriend it without being overwhelmed, we become free to explore the landscape of the difficult. Befriending is the beginning of accepting our vulnerability. It is a fading of the familiar strategies and mechanisms of avoidance that are triggered by our fears of vulnerability and our concerns about worth, lovability, and others. So instead of turning away from the difficult, students of mindfulness learn that it is possible to establish a dialogue of mindfulness and tenderness with it. And this makes affliction approachable, and the habits of fight, flight, fear, and avoidance cease to become so automatic. We know that those are our primitive instincts when a stress enters our system. So how can we self-regulate using the practice of befriending? So let's begin with a mindfulness exercise of befriending as you sit tall and let your hands rest in your lap. Pause here for a moment and sense what is happening in your body and mind. What is happening around you? And even intentionally adopt a posture that has a sense of openness, care, and dignity. And then as you attend to your body, sense how your body feels touching whatever objects, the ground, a blanket, the grass, whatever your body is touching, even the air on your skin, any sensations in your face, your shoulders. You might even start to sense what your mood is, maybe tired or restless or calm. You might even discover yourself becoming sensitized to the sights and sounds of this moment, like the music playing in the background. And then take a moment to stand back, be still, turning your attention to the life of your body with curiosity, patience, and care. Sensing how the air and your clothing are touching your skin. The sounds you're hearing, sense the posture of your spine. the expression on your face, the placing of your hands. Be mindful of the places in your body that are well and sense the easefulness of those places. And then now expand your attention to the places in the body that feel contracted or uncomfortable or painful. Explore what it is to tend to those places with care, curiosity, and kindness. And now, if it's helpful, say a few phrases under your breath, not trying to change anything, just saying the phrases and seeing how things are for you, like safe and well, contented and peaceful, caring and kind. And continue with this for as long as it feels appropriate, sensing how those words might resonate, literally resonate within your body. Sense what it is to expand your attention, to include your thoughts, any images that come to mind, the mood that you are present with in this moment, just as it is, without demand or expectation, without becoming lost in it or judging it. Safe and well, caring and kind. So remember that this practice that we're beginning now of befriending, invite you to drop in as you move through postures. We hold postures, and see if you might integrate some of these ways to pay attention to what's in the moment and to hold space for the gamut of experiences within that moment, even sometimes the uncomfortable. Remember, it's not about changing what's present, it's about paying attention with kindness and care. Now I invite you to bring your hands down to your belly. As you begin to deepen the breath into the belly, allow it to lift up into the rib cage, blossom open through the chest. Keeping a slight lift in your chest, exhale slowly through your mouth, hearing a gentle whisper. All the way to the bottom of the breath, let your belly sink in towards your spine. Again, inhaling into the belly, using your diaphragm as you expand into your lungs. Feel even the back walls of your rib cage expand, lifting high with a breath. And into your mouth, sound it out. Ha. And then another one, inhaling. And exhaling. And now, if you're not congested or anything, try just breathing through your nose and continue to focus on using your diaphragm to expand your belly and lungs. So it's a full breath in and an equally emptying exhale. We're going to begin the practice of Bhastrika Pranayama, which means bellows breath, and it's quicker. And for those of you that want to add motion to it, there's a Kriya that begins with the elbows bent wide and the hands like fists. And as you inhale, you raise your arms, keeping the shoulders relaxed, spread your fingers, and as you exhale through the nose, you rebend your elbows, refist your hands, sort of like this. Using your belly and lungs like a bellow. All right, so let's practice Bhastrika for 1 minute. Ready? Begin. relax. And now let's continue to sustain the breath through the nose, entering Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breath. So you're softly narrowing the back of your throat, intentionally creating a sound, a gentle whisper. Slowly breathe in and out through your nose. So listening to that very subtle sound, your breath brushes past the back of your throat. Let's come on down to all fours, our hands and knees. Setting up here so that your knees are directly under your hips. Your wrists are a couple inches in front of your shoulders. Let's begin cat-cow. Inhale as you glide your spine forward before coiling your chest up, drawing the shoulders down. Exhale as you drop your skull, rounding your back, contracting your belly. Inhale, draw your chest through your arms, looking up as your shoulder heads drop back. Exhale, contracting your abdomen as you tuck your tailbone under, dropping your skull. Take another 3 to 5 cycles of breath, slowly feeling the variety of sensations throughout the range of entering each pose, the cat and the cow. And on your next exhale, relaxing to a neutral spine, set your wrists directly under your shoulders so that you're now in modified plank pose. Spread your fingers really wide, pointing each index finger forward and parallel to each other. Root down through all of your fingertips to lift your weight away from the ground. Feel space within your shoulders as you glide them down your back, steadying your gaze a foot ahead of your hands. Feel your belly actively lifting towards your back body. Keeping your hips leveled, inhale, raise your right leg straight behind you off the floor, flexing the toes to face the ground. Keeping your left hand on the floor or raising your left arm forward, continue breathing. If your left arm is forward, lift the upper arm alongside your ear and roll the tricep towards the ground as you plug the left shoulder blade back. Lifting your navel, take a long stretch from left fingertips to right heel as you breathe in. Then exhale, begin to round again, bending left elbow, right knee towards each other, and maybe they touch. Inhale, re-lengthen, get long throughout your spine. Exhale, lift the navel and round again. 3 more, inhale, reach. Exhale, contract and lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract and lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract and lift. Keep contracting. You can set your left hand down here if it's lifted and step your right foot gently forward just inside of your right hand. Scoot the heel another inch or 2 forward so you can start to feel more of a stretch in the top of your left thigh, separating your legs as wide apart as your hips. Now firm down to your right toes spread through the inner and outer heel, and then begin to lift your arms, your spine, drawing your right hip slightly back. Send your left outer hip slightly forward, and then lift your frontal hip bones. Feel your tailbone lengthen further down as you're lifting up to your crown. With your right hand, bending your left elbow behind your skull, draw the shoulder blade down and reach your right hand underneath behind you to either grab your shirt with your 2 hands, you might have a strap you're dangling from your left hand, or maybe even clasping your fingers. Now, without actually moving your right leg, imagine you're dragging your right heel towards the rear of your mat as you lift your frontal hip bones and broaden your chest up towards the sky. Let's take another 4 breaths here in this version of Anjaneyasana. Softening your shoulder blades downward, lifting your sternum upward. Now, as you start to lift your left arm up, slide your right heel directly under your right knee, and then use your right thumb to draw the top of your right hip crease downward. Lifting your spine forward, breathe in. Then twisting to the right, take your left elbow and hook it outside of your right thigh. Press down into that right thigh, and then use your right hand to press against your left palm, turning your chest to the right as you breathe out. Feel stability through your legs. And as you breathe in, lengthen your spine forward, tracing the midline of your mat. Feel the space in your neck as you draw your shoulder blades down your back. Continue to twist as you breathe out. One more deep breath here. Then looking down at your right foot, set your 2 hands flat on the earth and step into downward facing dog. Taking the first few breaths, if you prefer, to shift your body in any way you like. Tune again to that gentle whispering sound as you breathe through your nose. Safe and well. Safe and well. Can you allow space for the gamut of experiences that arise? And let's set the knees down directly under your hips, entering modified plank pose with wrists directly under shoulders, fingers spread wide, gazing forward. Lifting navel towards spine. Inhale, slowly extend your left leg straight behind you off the floor, flexing the toes towards the ground, keeping your hips leveled. Keep breathing here, and you might add reaching your right arm forward, palm facing left wall, right tricep rotating towards the ground, and both shoulder blades moving down your back. And take a deep breath, get a little longer from right fingertips if hand is lifted to left heel. Then exhale, contract your belly and round, bending right elbow, left knee towards each other. Maybe they touch. Inhale, re-lengthen. Feel the length of your spine. Exhale, contract at the belly, lift and round. 3 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract and lift. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract and lift through the center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract and lift. And this time, inhale, reach. You can set your right hand down if you like. Slowly step your left foot forward, just inside of your left hand. Scoot the heel an inch or more forward so that you can start to feel more of a stretch in the top of your right thigh. With your legs hips distance apart, your front knee just over the heel, spread your left toes and root down through the inner and outer left heel. Then lifting your arms, lift your spine, Anjaneyasana. So then again, without actually moving your left leg, give it the feeling as if you're dragging the heel towards the rear wall. Allow your right outer hip to rotate slightly forward and lift your frontal hip bones slightly towards your bottom front ribs. Then with the help of your left hand, guide your right bent elbow behind your head, dropping the palm between your shoulder blades. Now you could grab a strap and dangle it from your right hand if you prefer, or grab hold of your shirt. Reach your left hand underneath, grab the other end of that strap or your shirt, or clasp your fingers if that's available. As you're drawing your shoulder blades down, feel the stability of your legs. Broaden your chest and begin to tilt it up while finding length within your lower back by anchoring your tailbone slightly forward and lifting your back ribs away from your tailbone. Another 4 deep breaths. Then raising your right arm up, slide your left heel to land just under your left knee, a little closer to you, so your shin is perpendicular to or upright. Use your left thumb, press the crease of your left hip down, and inhale, reach your spine forward. Then exhale, twist to your left, carrying your right elbow to hook outside of your left thigh. Use your left palm to press against the right and turn your chest even further. With legs stable, solidly grounded, with your in-breaths, elongate your spine forward to trace the midline of your mat, drawing your shoulder blades down your back. And with your out-breaths, hollow your belly, continue to rotate your chest. Notice if there's any overstriving in parts of the body. I asked because I just noticed I was starting to clench my jaw. Are you? Or is there a furrowing of the eyebrow? Letting go of any unnecessary added tension. Let's take another 3 breaths. Look down at your left foot. Slowly step back to downward facing dog. This time holding still in downward dog. Feel the placement of your hands shoulders width, the placement of your feet hips width parallel. And as you root down to fingers spread, find the longest length throughout your spine, front and back. Chest pressing towards thighs, belly firming in towards the back body. Inhale, glide forward into plank pose. Exhale, very slowly glide your shoulders a foot ahead of your wrists, bending your elbows back to hug your side ribs through Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down and point your toes. Inhale into Cobra, from down through every toenail as you draw your heart forward. Tuck your toes, pressing up through plank. Lift your hips back to downward dog. Step your feet 1 foot forward and separate them as wide as your mat width. Then pick up your right hand and cross it to catch hold of your outer left calf or ankle. Root down your right heel, turn your gaze under your left armpit towards the sky, and then relax your neck for a few breaths in this twist. Set your right hand forward and down. Let's switch. Cross your left hand and catch hold of your outer right calf or ankle. Root down to your left heel. Look under your right armpit towards the sky. And then just let your skull be heavy. Then setting your left hand down and forward, step up to the top of your mat with your feet hips distance, parallel, forward folds. Press the ground ahead, maybe blocks, or your shins. Inhale, draw your chest through your upper arms, really lengthening your spine as you firm your belly in. Exhale to fold. We're going twice more. Inhale, lengthen forward just a bit more. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Engage the front muscles of your thighs. Exhale, fold in. One more. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Belly in, thighs firm, toes spread. Exhale, fold again, Uttanasana. And heel toe your feet together so that they touch. We're going to start a vinyasa flow. Let's begin slowly as we mark the routes. Bend your knees together to touch, entering a full chair pose for a few breaths. You might even like to graze the ground with your fingertips before reaching your arms up. Now draw your weight back towards your heels as you lift your chest, hug in your front ribs and belly. Maybe sit a little lower. Take another in breath. Exhale, stay in chair and clasp your hands behind your lower back. Stay in chair and inhale, coil your chest up while drawing your navel in. Exhale, begin to bow, slowly straightening your legs to whatever degree you can lengthen your spine. Press your shins, the floor or your blocks, and inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, step the ball of your left foot back so your feet are parallel hips distance in a lunge. Inhale, rise all the way up to crescent pose. Let's pause a moment. Now you could bend your back knee to help you orient the bowl shape of your pelvis more upright if it feels like that bowl is spilling forward. Lengthening your spine and softening your shoulders. Take another in breath in crescent pose. Then join your hands together at your heart, entering warrior two. Spin your back heel to the floor. Slide your right foot a few inches to the left to align right heel to arch of left foot. As your chest turns to face your left wall, open your arms wide to stack your wrists above your ankles. Feel your right outer hip rotate underneath as you bend your front knee right over the heel facing forward. Let's take a full cycle of breath. Keep the bend of your right knee. Enter peaceful warrior. Flip your right palm to face up. Lift your spine, then sideways bend towards your rear wall. Left hand lightly lands on left leg. Right arm floats overhead. Breathe into your right side body. Take another breath in. Exhale, frame your right ankle on the floor, hands flat on the ground. Keep your left hand flat with a wrist right under your shoulder, fingers spread, entering side plank. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot flex, the pinky toe side. Either drag your right foot midway down your mat onto the right edge, like a kickstand facing the right wall, or step your right foot directly in front of your left toes on the ground, another modification, or flex both feet and stack the right foot over the left. As you're pressing the ground away with your outer left foot and left hand, can you feel the lift of your left hip away from the floor? Take another breath in. Exhale, sweep your right arm overhead, lowering into plank of your choice. Continue down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, raise your right leg straight behind you, squaring your hips. As you exhale, tap your right knee outside of your right upper arm, shifting to plank. Inhale, return to three-legged dog. Looking forward, exhale, cross right knee to left outer upper arm, twisting in plank. Inhale, return, three-legged dog. This time through center, bend right knee towards your nose, softly stepping right foot forward in a high lunge. Then inhale, shift forward into warrior three. Flex your left foot and create a horizontal line from crown to left heel. You have the option of lowering your hands on the floor or blocks ahead. Lifting the navel, take another breath in before bending left knee in front of you, rising to stand on one leg, right leg. Arms overhead as you stand tall. Exhale, mountain pose. Left foot touches the right. Hands down by your sides. We're going to start to move into a continuous flow as we enter side two. So listen to your breath in and out to your nose. with feet touching. Inhale into chair pose. Arms up. Stay in chair. Exhale, clasp your hands behind you. Maybe switch the thumb on top. Inhale, stay in chair. Coil your chest up. Exhale, bow with hands clasped overhead. Inhale, lower your hands and lift your heart forward, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step right ball of the foot back into a high lunge. Inhale, rise to stand in crescent pose. Join your hands in prayer at your heart. Exhale, turn to your right, align heel to arch, warrior two. Flip your left palm up. Inhale, lift the spine and sideways bend towards your rear wall, a peaceful warrior. Exhale, frame your left ankle, preparing for side plank. Right hand is flat down. Roll onto the outside edge of right foot. Inhale, choose your side plank. Left foot can be a kickstand in front of you, in front of the right toes, or stack both feet. Exhale, sweep the left arm overhead, entering your vinyasa of choice, which could be cat-cow. Continue on. We'll meet in downward facing. Downward facing. Inhale, raise your left leg, squaring your hips. Exhale, tap left knee to left outer upper arm in plank. Inhale, return three-legged dog. Looking forward, exhale, cross left knee to right outer upper arm, twist. Inhale, return to three-legged. Through center, exhale, bend knee to nose. Step forward to high lunge. Inhale, shift forward right into warrior three. Exhale, bend right knee in front of you, rise to stand on left foot, arms up, overhead. Set the right foot down and lower the hands. Pause one cycle of breath. And let's enter this flow once more on each side. Inhale through your nose. Sustain it through the nose out. Here we go. Inhale, bend your knees, feet together, full chair. Stay in chair. Exhale, hands clasp behind your back. Maybe switch the thumbs. Stay in chair. Inhale, coil your chest up. Exhale, bow forward, reaching the arms overhead. Inhale, press with your hands, lengthen halfway. Exhale, slowly step ball of your left foot back, high lunge. Inhale, rise with arms overhead, crescent pose. Hands to heart center. Exhale, turn left, align heel to arch, warrior two. Flip right palm up. Inhale, reach back, peaceful warrior. Exhale, frame your right ankle. Left hand becomes base for side plank. Roll to the outer edge of left foot. Establish the right foot as a kickstand or stack it over the left, breathing in. Exhale, sweep right arm overhead. Lower through your vinyasa. Continue, we'll meet in downward dog. Downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, tap left knee to left tricep in plank. Inhale, three-legged dog. Look forward. Exhale, cross left knee to right tricep in plank. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, center bend knee to nose. Step it through a high lunge. Inhale, shift forward into warrior three. Exhale, bend right knee in front of you. Arms up, flex the right foot. And inhale to stand, feet touching in mountain pose. Exhale, let it go. Last one, side two. Inhale, full chair pose, knees together, arms up. Stay in chair. Exhale, clasp the hands behind you, switch thumbs. Inhale in chair, coil your chest up. Exhale, bow forward, reaching the arms forward. Inhale the hands down, maybe on shins, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step ball of back, feet hips distance, high lunge. Inhale, rise to stand, crescent pose. Join your hands at the heart. Exhale, transition right to warrior two, heel to arch. Inhale, flip left palm, peaceful warrior, sideways bend. Exhale, frame your left ankle. Right hand becomes base for side plank. Inhale, roll to outside edge of right foot. Left foot is kickstand or stacked on top. Left arm reaches up. Exhale, lift the left arm overhead, entering plank. Continue on your own vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, tap the knee outside right upper arm in plank. Inhale, three-legged dog. Look forward. Exhale, cross knee to left tricep. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale through center, knee to nose. Lightly step it forward, high lunge. Inhale, shift forward, warrior three, flexing the left foot. Exhale, rise to stand on the right foot, bending left knee in front, arms high. Inhale, left foot comes down, arms release, mountain pose. Let's bring the hands to your lower back with the fingertips face down, preparing for a supported standing back bend. Here, separating your feet, hips width apart and parallel. Draw your tailbone like an anchor towards the ground between your inner heels. Feel a slight lift of your frontal hip bones, containing your center as you draw navel towards spine. Bend your elbows closer together. Feel the blossoming of your collarbones broadening across your chest. Then as you lift your back ribs, continue to elongate your lower spine. Glide your shoulder blades down your back ribs and begin to coil your chest up. Starting to look up. Another 4 deep breaths. Can you visualize the area right underneath your shoulder blades? Right there, focus your back to bend. If you're already very back bendy, try to avoid protruding the bottom front ribs forward even more. Seal them inward towards your back body and melt them downward towards your frontal hip bones. One more deep breath, expanding across your chest and lungs. And then roll your spine upright. Release your arms. And I'm going to set the timer for a 1 minute shake. Talked about the importance of shaking in Qigong, actually a practice, just letting go of energy in the body. I'm setting the timer now. Ready? Go. You can even shake your lips by fluttering them. Bounce the heels down, letting any stuckness in the joints and the ankles, the knees, the hips. You know, the animals in the wild, once they've been from their predator and they're safe, shake off stress response, and then their nervous system is rebalanced. Let's get that animal instinct. 23 more seconds. What hasn't shaken? The tongue, the skull, the shoulders, the back. Last 5. And we're done. Let's step the feet wide apart, facing the wide width of your mat. That was fun. Parallel. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, fold. Prasarita Padottanasana. So as you lower your hands, you could place them on blocks or a platform. If you don't have any of that and the floor's far away, you could either step your feet even wider apart and or bend your knees more so that your hands are pressing onto something, which you'll use as sort of leverage to draw your heart forward, elongating your spine. Now here, feel that your belly is actively lifting towards your spine, helping to lengthen both the front and back. The shoulders are gliding down the back. Can you create as much space within your neck as possible and maintain that space as you fold even more? Maybe walking the hands back, maybe lowering the top of the head to the floor. Some of you might use clasp index and middle fingers around the big toes and bend your elbows apart to draw you even deeper. It's called Padangusthasana. Some of you might enter tripod headstand. And for those of you that haven't practiced regular headstand with the interlaced fingers, tripod might be another option. It's sort of like crow. You want to first establish an equilateral triangle with the 3 vertices of the top of your head and the heels of your palms. Fingertips are facing forward. And then the arms act like chaturanga. They stay parallel. You create a shelf out of your upper arms, and your hands are doing the work to push the floor away and lift your shoulder heads away from the floor, maintaining the optimum length of your neck. Now, if you have any neck injuries, please do not go any further. Otherwise, you can start to step your knees on top of your upper arms. Contract the belly, feet come together, flexed. Maybe you unravel your legs straight, lifting the inner heels towards the sky, directing the tailbone to lift towards the inner heels as the navel continues to draw inward towards your spine. It's really quite a bit of upper body strength, well, actually whole body, because you're using your legs too. And then to come out of it, you could either straddle the legs apart and tilt the pelvis slowly to land your feet, or you could go in reverse. Place your knees on your upper arms and then gently step your feet on the ground again. Now, once you have landed both feet, or once you're back to a regular wide-legged forward fold, let's crawl the hands forward to rise halfway again. Set your left hand on the ground or a platform right under the center of your chest. Draw your left sitting bone back behind you and raise your right arm up, turning your chest to face your right side. Draw your shoulder blades down the back and breathe in. Stretch your spine forward. Leveling your hips, breathe out. Continue to turn your chest. Let's take another 3 breaths in this twist. And set your right hand in place to the left. Draw your right sitting bone behind you and raise your left arm, palm facing left wall. Chest turning to face left wall. Sorry, right wall. Forgot I'm mirroring you. Shoulder blades down the back, crown reaching forward, hips leveled. 3 more breaths. And once you've lowered that hand too, bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, lead with your chest. Inhale, slowly rise up. And let's come on down to our knees for our next back bend Ustrasana. If you have a block, I highly recommend hugging the skinniest width between your thighs. We're just taking camel pose once because we're varying our back bends. So if you know that you can generally reach for your heels with your hands, if you want, you can just untuck the toes. Otherwise, good place to start is to tuck your toes. Now, firming your thighs into the block. Place your hands on your lower back like we did standing up. Fingertips face down, tailbone anchoring downward towards the knees. Lift your back ribs, draw the belly in, and lengthen your lower back. Bend your elbows close together and broaden your chest. Take a deep in-breath and roll your shoulders back. Right under your shoulder blades, focus on that back bend. At least 5 deep breaths here. If reachable, you can hold one heel and switch, or both heels. Just make sure your pelvis stays right above your knees and doesn't slide behind your knees. And when you decide to come up, place your hands on your lower back for support again and roll your spine upright. We'll meet in child's pose. And when you arrive in child's pose, please extend your arms forward so it's actively lengthening your back, especially the lower back. Couple more breaths here in Balasana, in child's pose. Then slither forward to prepare for one last active back bend. Forehead to the floor, interlace your fingers behind your lower back. As your legs are straight back, keep pointing your toes and paralleling your feet, ankles no wider apart than hips distance. Then begin to lift everything you can off the floor, reaching the knuckles of your hands towards your heels and coiling your chest up without cranking your neck. At least 5 deep breaths here in bound locust. Or transition to bending your knees in bow, catching the outer edges of your feet, kicking your legs towards straight as you pull your feet towards your glutes, knees no wider than hips distance apart. Those of you in bow or Dhanurasana might opt to roll over to one outer shoulder, just giving that shoulder a weighted massage, and then onto the other outer shoulder. It's kind of fun. And then we'll all eventually meet just resting, letting it all go, maybe making a pillow out of your forearms, maybe even windshield wiping your shins left and right to more actively loosen your lower back. Deep into your belly, long sigh through your mouth. Then extend your elbows forward into Sphinx, lifting your chest. Cross your left forearm in front of your chest and bend your right knee. Back shook your right arm and catch the big toe or inside of your right ankle or foot. And with your knees no wider than hips distance apart, reground both of your frontal hip bones and turn your chest entirely to face forward. Let's take a few breaths of gently bringing right heel slightly towards the outside of right hip. And if it's available for you, maybe even rotating the right fingertips to face the front of your mat. Which further opens the inner right shoulder as well as the right quadricep. 2 more breaths. Then exhale to release back to Sphinx with both forearms. Scoot your knees even closer together to help with side 2. Cross right forearm in front of your chest, bend your left knee, and back stroke your left arm. Reach for the big toe side rather than the pinky toe side. Knees no wider than hips distance apart, both frontal hip bones grounded, chest facing entirely forward. Breathe. And gently bringing left heel slightly to the outside of left hip. And if available, you could rotate your left palm at the wrist so the fingertips face the front of your mat for further lengthening of your left quadricep and further external rotation of your left arm bone to open the inner shoulder. One more deep breath. And releasing that, press on up to hands and knees. So we did this in our yin class recently when we were practicing saucha. It's a detoxifying, could be quite uncomfortable. It's an abdominal massage. Now you could do it with either a prop, like a rolled up blanket, so that it's as thick or not as thick as you like. It's going to be right under the rib cage. And then we're going to lean forward into child's pose like this. That's pretty big, actually. Or, and then you bring the fist together and you find actually right under your belly button. You take a deep breath, you exhale it out, and you round into a child's pose. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute here. So, in a position that might be uncomfortable, can we bring that practice of befriending like we did in the beginning? Holding space for all of it, whatever comes up. Notice if you feel any sensation in your lower back here as you're pressing the abdomen in towards it. And as you breathe in, slowly roll your spine upright. Shake your hands out, maybe your arms, maybe even gently your head. Whew. I don't know about you, that was kind of intense. Let's extend the legs forward. Bend your knees apart for Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together. Ground to your sitting bones, lift your spine, open your chest, deep breath in. And then exhale, extend your chest forward slowly, breath by breath. Maybe walking your hands forward. Or maybe putting a block to catch your forehead. Let's take at least 5 more deep breaths here, balancing the inhalation as slowly as the exhalation. In physical yoga, especially active physical yoga like this, vinyasa flow, we challenge our bodies in certain ways. It varies for each person what's challenging for them, of course, and for the moment. But within that challenge, we're practicing self-regulating, not running away, not avoiding or fighting against the challenge or forcing, but we're practicing that so-called befriending, being there. Of course, not torturing ourselves, but being there with a caring curiosity. Slowly begin to lift your spine upright. Find a way to lift your legs up as you lie on your back so that you can cool your body, calm your nervous system even more. Some of you might have a wall you can lean your legs against, or you might be floating your legs up like this, or if you know how to practice shoulder stand or plow pose, you can come into that. You might even like supported shoulder stand, which is placing a prop under your sacrum so your pelvis is more elevated, further increasing the circulation of blood from the feet, legs, pelvis to heart. We'll just be here for another minute. You might practice belly breaths again to help both digestion and calming your nervous system. It's breathing into the belly so that it gently expands, and then breathing out to soften the belly inward towards your spine. Those of you practicing full shoulder stand or plow, you may want to reserve a brief moment to enter fish pose before you completely rest in Shavasana. Or if you're practicing supported shoulder stand as well, it's a great counter posture. Fish is where you extend your legs forward on the ground, feet are together but relaxed, and then you slip your palms face down under your buttocks so that your thumbs touch, and then you puff up your chest and tilt your head back as if you're trying to see behind you upside down. And then you take a few clearing exhales through your mouth. And then as you're ready, begin to lower your body towards a comfortable position to rest in stillness for Shavasana. A few minutes. If you have props around like a blanket, you might like to weigh it over your pelvis and belly, as that can feel grounding. If you like support for lower back stiffness, you could place blocks or a rolled up blanket or pillow under the backs of your knees, supporting a light bend of your knees as you extend your legs forward. Finding your position of rest. Any last little movements, ironing out of wrinkles of blankets underneath. Maybe turning your palms up in a gesture of receptivity, openness, and surrender. And perhaps taking one last clearing breath with the intention of letting go of controlling the breath after. Drop in and continue to observe. rather than abandoning or defending against distress, we discover that this too can be befriended. It is a powerful lesson to learn that aversion and resistance are not sentences, and that they only wound pain. We come to understand that aversion makes us a hostage to pain, events and experiences through an aversive and fearful narrative. Exploring the possibility of befriending the difficult allows the difficult to be seen as a dynamic, unfolding process that can be approached and can be understood. This is the basis for our guided meditation for those of you who'd like to join. If so, please begin to gently move your fingers, your toes, perhaps easing into stretching your arms overhead and lengthening up and down your body. And whether you draw your bend to your chest forward or to one side, gently lift your body upright. For those of you entering our 10-minute guided meditation. And this meditation was written by meditation teacher and author Sharon Salzberg. And it's about working with challenges. So find a comfortable seat. You may like to close your eyes or steady a soft gaze on an object in front of you. Feel your body at rest. Settle your attention inward and onto the gentle movement of your in and out breath. Safe and well. Safe and well. We're going to focus on working with challenges that tend to arise in meditation. We're going to practice taking an interest in challenging emotions. We deconstruct them. Anger, for example, is usually not simply anger. It's moments of fear, moments of sadness, moments of frustration, moments of helplessness. We pay attention to the whole range of what's arising and passing away. Let's say the state like anger arises. See if you can notice its component parts. Begin with paying attention to how it's affecting your body. What sensations are signaling the appearance of perhaps anger? Is there tightness in your chest? Is your heart pounding? Notice the different layers of emotion that, taken together, we might call anger. Just sit quietly, come close to whatever emotion, and let it reveal to you the different strands of feeling that are within it. If we're not so busy trying to hide anger lost in them, opportunity to observe them. It's like we're looking so we do the same with feeling like sleepiness. Eyes, and we'll either do battle with it, or we'll hate it, or we'll be overcome by it. But here, this practice of being, we try to take an interest in it. What are the physical sensations? Is there something there? Or disinterest, or anxiety? So if you feel that a feeling like sleepiness is just too strong, you can open your eyes. Continue on with the meditation, eyes open, or you can stand up. Settle your attention once again on the feeling of the breath. Point your attention right to the beginning of the in-breath and the end of it, and the beginning of the out-breath. With all of these difficult experiences, we seek to understand them, which means we have to look. In our normal reactive state, we don't have the time to look. We don't have the space to look away. Here, in meditation right now, our goal is to vanquish the state, but to pay attention to a deeper way, a more full way. You make the mental note to be able to recognize just what's happening now. There's anger, there's sleepiness, whatever. It's not my anger, it's anger. There's sleepiness, there's restlessness. And rather than blaming yourself, feeling condemning or feeling ashamed, use interest and investigation to bring us closer to the experience and remain free. And in that state of freedom, we have the option of bringing things more to balance, such as standing up if you're feeling very sleepy, but not from anger about being sleepy or blaming ourselves. Usually something challenging, we have extreme reactions. We get completely lost in it, it defines our world, it defines ourselves, or we push it away, we reject it. We don't like it. We don't like ourselves because it's arisen. Now we're talking about not falling into either of these two extremes, but knowing the place in the middle, which is mindfulness. It's clear, connected, spacious, interested. What is this experience? You can use a mental note just to bring your awareness to imagine maybe going on this. Sometimes what arises in the meditation is wonderful. Sometimes it's very challenging, maybe physically challenging, maybe emotionally, anger. We try to recognize this is what's happening right now. Rather than falling into it or pushing it away, we pay attention to it. What is this feeling? And we watch it change. Throughout all of this, our breath is like our anchor. We can always return. In meditation, we say, for the add-ons, what are we adding on to this? What are we adding on to this experience? I'm such a bad person. I should have been able to stop this. This is going to last forever, whatever it may be. Notice habitual thoughts. Let them go. Turn to the direct experience of just what's happening right now. Perhaps you sit with a thought that you shouldn't have any thoughts when you meditate, and yet they continue. It's okay. Our goal is really to bring awareness. Whatever it is, you can notice that there are floods of thinking. Recognize that, let go, and return your attention to the feeling of the breath. Meditation will reveal the entire range of our experiences, our feelings, our emotions, our memories. Sometimes it's very, very pleasant, beautiful, wonderful. Sometimes it's quite unpleasant and challenging. And sometimes it's just neutral, it's ordinary. But taken together, these make up our lives. The times that are invigorating and exhilarating and wonderful, the times that are very difficult, and everything in between, which we tend to take for granted. We can learn to bring our quality of presence and open-heartedness, real mindfulness, to all the pleasant experiences of that clinging without holding on, without closing down or being filled with. And with all of the neutral experiences, we can come alive, we can wake up, we can be truly there. Each presents its own challenge and its own opportunity. Now, as you begin to close this meditation, reflect back for a moment on your habitual relationship to pleasant experience, to unpleasant experience, and to neutral experience. See how this might prove useful to you in your everyday life, this practice of befriending. Closing together, I invite you to join your palms in prayer at your heart. And together with our voices, a chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.